Back before it was destroyed by politics and Don King, boxing was the manliest way to beat the crap out of someone while in a square. In the 80s, Mike Tyson was the guy, and like any sports game that wanted to sell on star power, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was released on the NES. A home version of the arcade game, Punch-Out is a classic title that is built entirely on skill and reaction. To this day, Mike Tyson is regarded as one of the hardest challenges in a game, and beating him is a feat in and of itself. So years later, Nintendo announced a new Punch-Out for the Wii. The reaction was most likely this: where's Tyson and, motion controls? While Tyson is nowhere to be found, Punch-Out manages to incorporate its memorable gameplay in a way that's both familiar and refreshing, all without having to waggle like a fool. You play as Little Mac, an up-and-coming boxer from Brooklyn seeking to become the champion of the world, and, well, that's it. And frankly, that's all you need. Punch-Out looks amazing on the Wii. Nintendo and Next Level Games managed to make this package burst with personality. While many old faces from the previous games appear in this new version, they bring with them a separate identity with vivid facial expressions and fighting styles. Sometimes translating from 2D to 3D doesn't always work, but Punch-Out manages to excel in creating memorable characters whose faces you just want to jab till they drop. While the original Punch-Out had basically 3 songs, they're the type of tunes you didn't mind hearing over and over again. Punch-Out Wii takes these and, again, elevates them. Remixes of old tracks as well as new themes for each character help give the game more personality. Even each of the victory tracks are different, which is a nice little touch considering they could have been overlooked. But my favorite part of the sound is that each of the characters speak in the dialect of their ethnicity, and with absolutely no subtitles. Previous Punch-Out games just had text, but here, they could be taunting you and you'll have no idea what they're saying. Certain characters like Disco Kid do speak English, but it's fun to think that the universal language of hitting someone in the gut transcends verbal communication. That, and, well, it just helps with the personality aspect I keep talking about. On paper, just boxing and doing nothing else sounds as though it might get kinda boring. But that's where those personalities come into play. No two boxers in Punch-Out fight the same. While you can pretty much wail on Glass Joe, you have to wait for the right time to counterpunch Aaron Ryan. And that's the beauty of Punch-Out. The game only requires the Wiimote, held sideways, and plays exactly like the NES Classic. 2 buttons for punching, the D-pad for dodging, ducking, and controlling where your punches are going, and the A button for star punches. You can get star punches by hitting your opponent at just the right moment. It's simple and easy to grasp, and the game manages to teach you exactly how to play very quickly. But at the same time, the game requires patience to master, especially in its later stages. You may breeze through the first few matches pretty quickly, but come to King Hippo and you may find that your skills are beginning to be put to the test. At no point does the challenge in Punch-Out feel unfair. Rather, it's about learning your opponent and being able to dodge, duck, and counter when needed. Each boxer will teach you, one way or another, how they fight and may change up what they do when the fight progresses. It creates an atmosphere that's both tense and exhilarating and is so satisfying when you manage to conquer it. If I had one thing to complain about with Punch-Out though, it'd be the controls themselves. While I said earlier the simple controls work, and they do, the Wiimote's tiny D-pad is just not suited for my thumb. The other option incorporates the nunchuck and even the balance board if you want it to, but this all uses waggles, so it's a much worse option. It baffles me that Nintendo released a controller meant for older games, yet Punch-Out, a modernized version of a classic, doesn't take advantage of it. To be fair, this isn't really the game's fault, the Wiimote just kinda, well, sucks, but the option for the classic controller would have been nice. Overall though, Punch-Out is a masterfully executed example of how to give a fresh spin on a beloved title. Nearly every step of this game does it right, and if you've got a few extra bucks, I highly recommend getting it off the eShop on your Wii U. The championship awaits.